Hello everyone, myself Dr. Kirti Mathur, MPT Musculoskeletal. I am Assistant Professor, Department of Physiotherapy, Dolphin PG Institute of Biomedical and Natural Sciences. Today I am going to discuss a topic named galvanic current, which is immensely used in the Department of Physiotherapy for various therapeutic effects. So, when we talk about various currents, it starts with the low frequency current, then medium frequency current, and high frequency current. So, starting with the low frequency current, we have certain modalities like TENS, muscle stimulator, and sinusoidal currents. So, in that muscle stimulator, we consider two currents. One is the galvanic current, and another one is the Faradic current. So, today's topic is galvanic current, which is also called as interrupted direct current. It is called as long duration current, having duration of more than 1 milliseconds, and it can go up to 300 or 600 milliseconds. And interruption is the most usual modification of direct current. The flow of current commencing and ceasing at regular intervals means it is a direct current, but there are some interruptions. Then the rise and fall of the intensity may be sudden and may be of rectangular, sawtooth, triangular, and trapezoidal type. Means these variations rise and fall are of different waveforms. It may be rectangular, it may be a sawtooth representation, a triangular, or a trapezoidal type. Indications means in what conditions we can use galvanic current. So first indication is improvement in venous and lymphatic drainage. So whenever we are giving any kind of stimulation, artificial external stimulation, so this causes alternative contraction and relaxation of muscles, which produces pumping action, which leads to venous and lymphatic drainage. Effect of galvanic current: initially treatment should be given in pain free range so that no movement causing pain is produced. So when we are giving galvanic current, first of all we should start with the pain free range, and then gradually we'll increase the intensity. And patient is advised to produce voluntary contraction along with the electrical stimulation. We have put the electrodes, then we start increasing the intensity of the galvanic current, and we ask the patient to try to produce a voluntary contraction, which may be difficult initially. Then it is also used for facilitation or initiation of the muscle action. When the patient is unable to produce muscle contraction or finds a difficulty to do so, electrical stimulation may be required in assisting to produce voluntary contraction. This happens in case of hemiplegic patients or in cases of disuse atrophies where muscle function is lost. So we are initiating the muscle action or we are facilitating a muscle action, then galvanic current can be used. Then coming on to the contraindications. Contraindications are mostly same in all other current modalities, like metal implant in close vicinity should be avoided to avoid the concentration of electrical charges, because it can pass electrical currents more than the tissues. Then current might provoke undesirable metabolic activity in neoplasms or in healed tuberculosis infections. Currents might be unduly localized due to open wounds or skin lesions like skin conditions, eczema. And strong muscle contraction might cause joint or muscle damage, or it can cause detachment of thrombus and spread of infection and hemorrhage. So if there are chances of hemorrhage and infections, then we have to avoid, or this galvanic current is contraindicated. And then stimulation of the autonomic nerves might cause altered cardiac rhythm or other autonomic effects. So this is contraindicated in patients with pacemakers. Then current is not evenly biphasic, leading to possible skin damage or irritation if there is loss of sensation. So it is again a strict contraindication for the patients with sensory loss and in the patients with neoplasm or a proliferative tissue. And skin condition, eczema is again another contraindication. And now we'll talk about doses, and the treatment time and dose is variable. That if the effect of treatment is inadequate, you can continue for a longer time, And doses is very much a function of the aim of the treatment, and this is variable from patient to patient. And guidelines regarding the number of repetitions per day for a range of aim are provided in the table, which you can see here. These are the different objectives and the frequencies, intensities, and number of repetitions along with the limiting factors, and according to this we can manage our treatment plan and the doses. Then electrode size, number, and location, how this affects the treatment. Changing the electrode size, number, and location will all affect the current path. They are therefore selected according to the aims of treatment. The size of electrode and intensity govern the current density. Use as low a current density as possible. So larger electrodes generally are more comfortable because they have less current density, and the number of electrode is a minimum of 2 per channel, but can be more if an electrode is bifurcated. And note the possible effect on current density of individual electrodes, and that the combined area of cathode should be approximately the same as that of the anode. So this was an introductory lecture on galvanic current. I hope this will help you. Thank you so much.